Well, here we are with the zip. It is February 16th, and I decided to pull it outside and fire it up because it hasn't been fired since our run in November. And again, a little bit of priming with the electric fuel pump a couple different times, and then coming back here and pulling the primer on the choke a few times, and I got it to fire up, but it was running really rough. And I thought, well, this is weird. It was noticeably not running on both cylinders. So I pulled the, while it was running and very rough, I pulled this upper cylinder spark plug wire off and noticed no change whatsoever in how it ran. So I knew this was the dead one. So the first thought is, okay, the plug's fouled. I've never replaced the plugs. These are the same plugs that came in it when I bought it. So I pulled the plug, I ran inside, I cleaned it up, I heated the plug on a propane torch, installed it, fired it up, fired the boat up again, and still rough, still rough. So I thought, ooh, I knew the plug was good because prior to that, I tested it on my lawnmower. I just plugged it in and cranked it over and I could see spark. So I knew the plug was good, but still didn't run. So I came out here, I plugged my inline tester in, fired it up, nothing, no spark. And I thought, oh crap. Notice we have the pull start assembly and the flywheel off. So I looked up underneath the flywheel, and sure as shit, that magnet had broke loose and slid over till it was touching the other magnet. Now the real question is, was it the magnet we repaired or not? My wager was it was not the magnet we repaired, it was the other one, but I wouldn't know until we pulled the flywheel. So that's what I just finished doing. Again, this is a 10-minute job to get the flywheel off. And if we come over here and look, hopefully you can see that. This is the factory glued mark. Let me get this flywheel stood up. So let me get it in the shade so hopefully we can see it better. I'll take it in the garage. There, that's better lighting. So if you take a look here, you can see that's the factory glue mark. And fortunately enough, the magnet should be here. It's now over here. See the problem? They're not opposed. But when we did this magnet, we were smart enough to scribe this magnet as well as the outside of the housing as to where it went, just in case this exact thing happened. Now, how do I know for certain that that's the factory glue? Well, if we look over on the other side, the magnet that is in the correct spot, off of my tick marks there, there, and there, you can actually see where I sanded it, and you can see the light gray glue around the edge of it. Hopefully you can see that glue right down there in the corner of it. So this is the magnet we repaired last time, and it's still where we put it. The factory glued magnet, here's a look at the back of it. See that? This is the magnet we did not repair, and here it is. She broke right off. So we're going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to clean this up, sand it up, put some JB weld on her, line up our marks. Fortunately, there was enough foresight to make marks on the other magnet that wasn't damaged. Line it up on the marks, clamp it, let it sit overnight, and boom, bam, we'll be running again. But easy fix. It's just strange that the boat ran absolutely flawless the last trip out. I mean, I posted a video of it, November 11th, no issues. And then go to fire it up, and it just only runs on one cylinder. So I don't know if that sudden jar of start-stop a couple of times broke it loose or what it was, but that's where we are. Time to fix it. Easy fix. So here we are, 15, 20 minutes later. Again, sanded all of the epoxy off the backside of the magnet, sanded the flywheel where it was going to attach, mixed up some JB weld, spread a very thin layer on the flywheel, a thin layer on the backside of the magnet, stuck it in place, lined up our little hash marks that fortunately we had the foresight to do when the other side was broken, and just line it right back up. Very, very light pressure just to keep it from sliding, and you can see hopefully there's a little bit of epoxy JB weld squeeze out on both sides. So that should oughter be good as new. We'll let it cure overnight, bring it in the house, of course, and make sure it stays warm, but let it cure overnight, and then we can assemble it back on the zip. Well, if it's got wheels or lady parts, it's going to give you problems. Okay, here we go. Just finished assembling the zip. I went ahead and let that JB weld on the flywheel magnet cure for 3 days, just like the last time on the other magnet. But here we are, just finished assembling it. It took about 15 minutes to do. I've got my water running, completely cold start. Let's see what happens. Turn that key on, this key on. We're gonna prime it. 10 seconds or so. Okay. Now I'll come back here. We'll pull our choke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll leave that out. And now we'll run our throttle all the way up and hit the key. There she goes. Good old two smoke. Shut off this choke. That looks better. Yeah, buddy. I love it. Oh, yes. I am so excited. Let's see what's inside. So, inside of that box was this box. And in this box, oh, look at that. This is a Moto Iron stock length Springer front end, all chrome. And there is our 4-piston caliper. And this is the adapter to run the new style risers on the older spaced front end. Some extra stuff they threw in. Love the sticker. Love the sticker. But this and that wheel are going to be going on this. Let's tear into it. So I took some measurements with my calipers, and I am now cutting some spacers for the front axle on my little lathe. Finally getting some use out of this thing. And here we are. This is about, I don't know, an hour and a half later. Just test fitting everything. Everything's lightly put together, as you can see. Nothing's tight. But everything fits, everything clears, all of our spacers are right. Yeah, super excited. So now, we got to get that one tore off and get this one put on. Sweet. Well, she's pretty stripped down now. Just about ready to slide that stock front end out of there. So this is the result of about 5 hours worth of work. Me and the boys worked on it tonight for about 5 hours roughly. That's completely tearing it down, getting the old front end off, beating the races out of the frame, new races in, packing the bearings, installing the Springer. You know, of course, everything we've had to modify. I wouldn't say everything, but large amounts we've had to modify. Had to build a bracket for the headlight to mount to, and now we're working on soldering, extending the wires for the headlight plug and things like that. But I think, you know, another 3-4 hours, maybe less, we should be able to have this thing back on the road. I'm actually surprised at how well it's going. That's where we are. I like the look of the high headlight. I'm not sure if I like it at this height or not. We can move it down about an inch, you know, an inch lower. So I kind of like that high headlight look. Anyhow, that's where we are. Not bad for a few hours after work one night. Springer is so sick. All right, well, we're officially back together. As you can see, my garage, it's like one giant tool explosion happened. We are getting ready to go give it a test ride. Hopefully we didn't forget to tighten anything down, or we'll find out real quick. Well, we must have got the wiring right. also opted to not use the factory, I don't know what you want to call them, lollipop style turn signals that stick out with a ball on them. I couldn't bring myself to mount them to this front end. I think they look kind of stupid on it. Just my opinion. So what I did do is ordered up a set of LEDs, and I mounted them on the down tubes. There's one for the left, one for the right. They're very, very bright. Because they're an LED, the factory flasher doesn't recognize them because it's such a small amp draw. Basically, the bike thinks the lights are burnt out, so it doesn't flash. So when you activate the light, the blinkers, the turn signals, it comes on and it stays on. So I'm having to manually activate the flasher with a push of the button. To solve that, there's a couple different methods. The way I'm going with is actually ordering an LED flasher to install. That'll be here next Friday, and we'll get that put on. But in the meantime, I'll show you how bright they are. Key on, there's our headlight. And we'll come over here and we'll hit the right turn. And you can see it lit up on the tire. It is bright. I mean, they're like stupid bright. I'm very impressed with them. So then we'll come and hit the other side. And again, they'll be flashing here at the end of the week when my LED flasher shows up. But I'm very, very happy with them. So I'm just actuating them by hand, basically. But man, I think it looks great. Hopefully it's legal enough. I know they're plenty visible enough. You know, the only real complaint they may have is maybe they're not spaced far enough out from the center of the bike. I don't know. They're plenty visible enough. The price was right, and I like the look, so we'll see how they hold up anyhow. So as I'm sure most of you have noticed by now, I'm not following the same kind of format as far as videos go as I was when I was building the Zip. I'm not putting out a video on the first of every month or even every month. Basically, I'm just trickling them out as I get enough footage to show, and there's some sort of progress we're seeing. And that's probably how this is going to continue. I'll just give you updates as they come on the bike. For everybody who wants to know, this is a Moto Iron chrome Springer front end. It is stock length. It was ordered from TC Bros. Very, very reasonable price, and I'm very happy with the quality so far. You know, obviously, they were just a week into this, but very happy with the ride quality, very happy with the quality of the parts, the fit, and the finish. I think it's very reasonable for the asking price. I ordered the Springer front end. I ordered the adapter to run newer style risers on the Springer front end. And then I ordered the 4-piston caliper. Now this is not the factory Sportster wheel. I believe this is a wide glide wheel. It's the one that I had sitting over here, the pair, and I'll end up putting that on the rear as well. I think it has a much better looking hub, much better. Not near as big around and much wider. It's just a better looking wheel. 21 inch, just like the other one. So that means I have the entire spare Sportster front end. And I mean the entire spare front end sitting over there. This is not the kind of project, if you're not fairly mechanically inclined, that's not the kind of project you want to take on. Me and my two sons were out here in the garage. It took us about 9 hours to do over the course of a couple of days, so we did it in a weekend. But it's not a direct bolt-up type of project. There's plenty of cutting and grinding and, you know, massaging and building little brackets to make stuff work and fit. And it's a universal front end. One of those things, for instance, is this cover right here. You can see this cut. You know, this cover used to come all the way down into here, but that would have interfered. So that had to be cut. Same thing with the headlight. This headlight would not fit in here. You'd need a different style mount. So we had to build a bracket to extend it out. You know, little things like that. It's not a direct bolt-on assembly, I guess is the point I'm trying to get across here. So if you're not fairly mechanical, fairly fabby type of person, it's probably not the job for you. This thing looked really sad sitting here with no front end, no tank, no seat, just kind of a motor and a frame and the entire top and front stripped off of it. It looked real sad. Big project, but fun one. I love it. I'm really happy with the outcome. You know, I'm still going to hardtail it. Not sure when we'll get to that. We're going to get that 16-inch rear wheel on. We'll get white walls on it. We'll get chain conversion done. You can see I bobbed off the seat. This used to be the, the 2-up seat. And I just took it apart and a little cutting, hacking, chopping. Yeah, it's real fat. Yeah, it's real wide. Yeah, it's not perfect. But I think it looks a lot better than the old seat anyhow. So we'll just keep trickling out videos as they come, as progress is made. I'm slowly knocking down the projects. Really, really happy with the Springer though. Man, I think it looks good. And it doesn't ride as terrible as you might think. It's not as soft as the factory one, but it's not much worse. It's not much worse. So that's where we are. It's the progress we made this last couple months. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, rate, and comment. And we'll see you guys someday on the next update. So what we were doing tonight, I ordered off of Amazon these little flashers. If you're looking for them, they are called 2-pin LED motorcycle flashers. I bought a 4-pack of them for, I want to say they're like $13 or something. They're really cheap. But basically, because I installed the LED strips up front for my turn indicators on the down tubes, the brain no longer recognized a draw. It basically thought that the front lights were burnt out because they don't draw anything like the incandescent bulbs did. So basically when I would activate the turn signals on the bars, the blinker, the turn would come on and it would stay on. It wouldn't flash because, again, the motorcycle thought that the light was burnt out. So to get by that, there's a couple of different methods. This is the method I preferred, and I ordered these little 2-pin flasher cans. They are adjustable. If you look, there's a little Phillips head screw right underneath the, slotted screw right underneath the terminals, and you can adjust the rate of flash. Faster or slower. Right now I've got them turned down all the way. So basically what I did was I took the wires, so this is the flasher brain back here. This is where all the cancellation stuff happens for your turn signals. 2 wires coming out of here that are the power out for the front and rear turns. Purple is your front and brown is your rear. So I cut those 2 wires, I extended them around, so we have the purple coming out of the brain into the B side, and then we have the other half of the wire that we snipped that goes on ahead forward coming into the L, or the load side. Same with the brown. The wire coming out of the brain goes to the B side. The wire coming out of the L side goes to the rear turns. And that's pretty much it. All of my connections are soldered and heat shrunk. They're done right. I mounted some zip tie anchors to the frame back here and here. Ran a zip tie through them, and then these zip tied down so they're not going to fall off or any of that crap. It should be 100% waterproof, but we'll take a look at them real quick. Turn the key on. We've got headlight and right turn. So there it is. There's the right turn. Now we'll go up and we'll hit the left turn. And there's our left turn. And they are frickin' bright. I love those LEDs. And I like that they're kind of hidden on the down tubes like that. The good news is, now that we've put these flashers in, I can convert the rear turns to LEDs, and I don't have to do anything else. They're ready. That's pretty darn cool. Looks good, works good. That's what we're doing tonight. Pretty cool.